Out of all the ships that have sailed the seven seas over all the years of naval history, there's none like the RMS Titanic. 114 years ago today, the RMS Titanic struck an iceberg and sunk. This video is basically going to be a tribute to the Titanic and also just talking about the Titanic in general, what made it so famous, and we're going to actually do a simulation of it in this one Roblox game.
Well, there's multiple things I like about it, the Titanic. Well, first of all, I used to see it in tons of videos as a kid, right? And, I've been studying it for years now. It's a very cool event, and it's the thing that, made ships safe. Because, all that loss has been bad. However, it's helped cause, more lives, to be saved. Yeah, the damage has been done.
Titanic began construction in March of 1911 by the Harland and Wolff Shipbuilding Company in Belfast, Ireland. Now, Harland and Wolff Shipbuilding made a couple other famous ships that were the sister ships of the Titanic, the Olympic and the Britannic. Before the Titanic era, they also helped make other ships, most notably the Teutonic and the Majestic. Harland and Wolff would go on to make many other ships during World War II. However, their greatest ship, the Titanic, at the time, was the biggest ship in the world, spanning 882 feet. Now, 882 feet is massive. I mean, this is kind of a weird comparison, but to put that into perspective, that is 269 Minecraft blocks. So, you can scale that in Minecraft if you want. An interesting fact, the Britannic, the sister ship of the Titanic, was a ship that also sunk in a tragic way, which it got hit by a German landmine, sea mine. Why did I say landmine? Naval mine. And that caused it to capsize, I think, and sink. So, it's a pretty interesting story considering the Titanic also sunk in a tragic way. The Olympic, on the other hand, didn't actually sink. The Olympic had a very long and successful career, which I didn't know that. I thought they both sunk, but I mean, still, it's kind of crazy to think, one of the greatest naval tragedies, the Titanic, and then the sister ship also got sunk. It's kind of interesting to think about.
That's not the point. Goodbye, I'll miss you. Goodbye. I'm gonna never forget
you! Well, the Titanic movie actually did a good job being accurate. However, there are a few things. When the power cut, the Titanic was still visible, which was inaccurate. And also, the love story between Jack and Rose never really happened. But, I mean, that's what you gotta have for an entertaining movie. Overall, I'd say it was decently accurate. There's a few discrepancies here and there, but it's a good movie.
In 1997, James Cameron made the Titanic movie, which is pretty much the undisputed best and one of the only Titanic movies that exists. Now, of course, the story of the Titanic itself is a great one, and it's probably one that on its own is, very well known, but the movie did make it pretty much internationally known. Maybe not internationally known. I mean, it's a lot more mainstream through the movie. And the movie did do a pretty good job at teaching the sinking of the Titanic, how it happened. And, fun fact, the movie length is the same amount of time it took for the Titanic to sink, which I think is a cool detail. So, yeah.
Well, how did the Titanic sink? So, in the night, of April 14th, it was sailing, smooth waters, everything was good, though they had gotten many ice warnings throughout the day. That's when, because of the smooth waters, icebergs weren't able to be seen, and there's an iceberg right ahead, but it was too late. Ripped through 6 upper compartments out of the 16 in the Titanic, and well, at first there was panic, but then everyone was like, the big ship's fine. So the ship just slowly sank. Right. Well, lifeboats were being lowered, not even to full capacity. It wasn't until the water reached the bridge that people really started to realize the gravity of the situation. This is when chaos ensued, and by this time, there's only about 15 minutes left till the entire vessel went underwater. So, when the first funnel collapsed, then the second, that's when the ship was at a big angle, and it was too much pressure. The power cut, and the ship broke in half, in deep silence. Or darkness, I mean. So, as it broke away, the keel stayed connected, so the stern was getting dragged down with the bow. That's when it disconnected, and the stern bobbed on the surface for a bit before eventually sinking down while it was at a vertical angle. So yeah, that's the overall overview of how the Titanic sank.
All right, we are here. This is the simulation of the Titanic. Say what's up, Levi.
What's up?
So, or sorry, you talk.
Well, looks like it's April 15th as of 2026 now, and well, this is supposed to be April 15th, 1912, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah. So about now, I think in the simulation, or actually a couple seconds, it should be to the point where the Titanic is starting to sink in the simulation. And as you can see, well, I don't have the simulation up right now, but water's starting to come in slowly, of course. So,
Yeah.
Levi, you've done a lot of these interview segments for the thing. What do you have to say about the video so far?
Well, the video, it's pretty good. I mean, the Titanic goes decently slowly at first, and then by the time it reaches the bridge, that's like the end of it, you know.
Hmm.
But
So right now we're passing the minute mark on the simulation, and I think by now water is definitely coming in a bit into the bow. Levi does explain this in his in a segment later, the next segment after this. But basically, water, the starting of the sinking, like went from bow to about the middle of the ship. It's pretty slow, not to middle, but you get the idea. When it was first starting to sink, it was slow, but then once it got to a certain point, fast, and that's what happened in the simulation. So,
yeah, like
what
when
do you
it
have to
time got to the bridge, right? It was
say?
only 15 minutes till the entire ship sank, which was pretty interesting.
Yep. But yeah, water's coming in slowly. Still, it's starting to creep up. So this video, I've had to pretty much edit, record, and upload this video from last night, April 14th, to today, April 15th. What do you have to say about that? Pretty much, Levi.
Well, it's been a long process. I'd say Jackson here has done most of the work, but I'm happy that we're getting this out, you know.
Hmm. I'd like to say in the simulation here, Chewie is the one driving the ship. However, due to editing issues, he couldn't be here. I want to give him credit. If you're watching this, Chewie, sorry we couldn't add you in. Anyways, so that just happened. So about right now, actually, give it a minute. About now, we're entering the part when the ship is starting to take in water pretty fast. So by the time it hit the bridge, what do you have to say about this part of the simulation, Levi?
Well, it's about to go super fast.
Hmm. It goes pretty much from like just a little creep of just being like, okay, when's it gonna go, to just like snap and it's sunk already, you know?
Right. Yeah. The Titanic. What a good ship. It sucks that it had to have such a downfall. It said that the White Star Line had bad luck, and well, it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, some of the best ships ever made, but it's crazy that the unsinkable ship sunk, which I think is just crazy.
Right.
I mean, I wonder if the Titanic never sunk, what would it be known as? Just like that good passenger ship?
Oh, it would probably just. I mean, if it had never sunk, then I mean, could have been scrapped. Could have been like preserved as like the Queen Mary ship vessel is in like Los
Hmm.
Angeles. You know, multiple things that could have happened with it.
Yeah, I mean, what was I gonna say? I mean, Titanic. I mean, it was the biggest ship at the time, And again, ships like that, they're not really known until they sink. And that's the thing. Like they're like if the
Yeah.
Titanic never sunk, not many people would know about it, except for some hardcore nerds. Coming up, there's about to be a very significant event. This simulation is on the Roblox game Water Physics by Stuart Games. Very good game. Go check it out. Right about now, boom, the split just happened. The ship is split
Wow.
into two. What do you have to say about that, Levi?
Well, it's a sad thing. Many people were thrown off, but it's also, yeah, man. I mean, the Titanic got to such an angle, it couldn't really stand the pressure and just split.
Hmm.
And right before the power cut.
Yep. Well, what do I have to say? I'm not sure how much longer the simulation's going to go on. I can test it right now. So, right now, as we speak, the simulation actually just ended about 30 seconds ago. So, how about we end this now? It's a pretty good simulation, though. What do you have to say?
It was a good simulation. I'm happy we got to use it. No, thank you, Stuart, from Stuart Games.
Mhm. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah. Right there was the simulation the Titanic made in the Roblox game Water Physics by Stuart Games. Great developer, great game, very realistic sinking. We're going to hear a word about Levi, his afterword of the simulation, to see what he has to say about how realistic it was.
Well, the Titanic simulation did a pretty good job being accurate. The only problem is sometimes it'll lift a little bit too much to the starboard side, and also when the ship split, instead of um like the stern being completely vertical, just sitting there and then going down, sort of just actively went up and up as it sank. So, yeah. But overall, it was a good simulation. Pretty much simulated it well. Yeah, it did a good job.